The two monster programs get together Saturday night in Atlanta. Big one. And two programs that have combined for 5 of the last 8 national titles, with Bama a second away from another. Nick Saban always reloads, but replaces a record 9 players who were taken in the first 80 picks of the draft. All the pieces of Saban's deepest backfield return, plus add Najee Harris. And while they share the load, can the Noles immediately turn to freshman Cam Akers to replace Dalvin Cook? DeAndre Francois hopes so, as he looks to build upon earning conference rookie honors. Major playoff points to the winners Saturday night.
The early season challenges certainly help your off-season preparation, off-season program, spring practice, summer conditioning, fall camp. Players are really looking forward to playing against a really good opponent, and there's a lot of things that you find out early on, and you certainly know what you need to go to work on and fix, win, lose, or draw.
If you're here at Florida State playing in these games, you're going to be in hype games. You're going to play in big games. There's probably more hype because you've had longer to talk about it. It's a season opener. That has a lot to do with it, in my opinion. But it's the first time the 2 top 3 teams have played to open up a season. So I understand where that comes from, but for us, we just got to play a game. We have to play the football game, not everything else, and that's going to be the key.
And this is the week we finally get to go inside the X's and O's of that football game. What are going to be the key factors when these two giants get together?
There's a lot of key factors, and I think that these teams are two very evenly matched. They have some impact players at critical positions, but the thing I'm going to be watching is Florida State's offensive line, fellas. They lost 3 starters from a year ago, and even with those guys, they gave up an amazing 36 sacks. Roderick Johnson, the left tackle, is now in the NFL. They lost another guy who was all-conference. They have a right tackle that is a converted D lineman that's going to be starting. They're going to be going against this Alabama offensive line that, yes, does replace a lot of people, but they know that they can reload. That's going to be critical, especially with losing Dalvin Cook. I think his ability to make chicken salad out of chicken other things is going to be sorely missed this year. They'll be tested up front.
And he's their all-time career rusher there, and he was a beast to tackle. Now you bring in this freshman, Cam Akers, highly recruited. Everyone's raving about this young man. He had over 5,000 yards of total offense his senior year in high school. He had 65 touchdowns. It goes about 5'11", 213. Well, we're going to find out what he's made of really, really quick, because I know he's going up against some great talent there at Florida State in the spring game, just shy of 100 yards, but now going up against an Alabama defense, you're going to find out real quick what big-time football is about.
Well, I think the most important guy on this matchup that might be a preview of the semifinal game in the national championship when the playoff starts is going to be Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for Alabama. I love this kid, loved what he did last year. He threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage an awful lot to receivers there. I expect him to do more of what we're showing here is press the ball down the field. That's going to be part of him getting better and better and maturing as the quarterback. And if he improves as well as most quarterbacks in that system that get a second chance or second year to start, the rest of the country's in trouble.
Yeah, new offensive coordinator now, Fred.
Brian Daboll's influence on this offense is what I'm most curious to see, because, as you point out, they're going to try to get better as drop-back pass and get the ball down the field. I think they were 2 of 14 in the national championship game on 3rd down. They want to have more equipment for that deal, but don't lose this kid's legs. Let me show you a thing of beauty right here. Let me watch this play right here. This is him against Tennessee in what we call a little pistol run-pass option deal. He's to the house. Guys, this is not part of the New England Patriot offense.
Tom Brady can do that.
And if they lose that piece of this offense, they've lost something I think really valuable. He's got to find a balance.
Well, I would agree with that, but you go back and look at Hurts last year, as great as he was, versus ranked teams, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Teams outside the top 25, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he has to get better pressing the ball down the field and taking care of the rock as well.
You've been around young quarterbacks. How much of that is just being a freshman, even if he is playing, the way his sort of production went off as the teams got better towards the end of the schedule?
Well, you achieve what you emphasize, right? And so camp, and by all accounts, the spring game was all about drop back, understanding protection. They certainly have the athletes to be equipped to do that, but don't lose those legs. Those are magic legs.
And I don't know if they're going to, because the narrative all offseason was reestablishing the identity. I think Alabama's going to run the football more instead of being able to try and throw it more. Now, they do have to have a complementary pass game, but you'd be a fool not to be able to use use his legs. And how about DeAndre Francois on the other side? The beating that kid took. We saw what he did behind that offensive line, but he never gave up. He's got a strong heart. Both these quarterbacks, I'm looking forward to compete.
The good news is 3 guys aren't there anymore off that offensive line.
Yeah, that good or bad.
You guys are better.
The good news is Derwin James is back, and coupled with McFadden in that secondary, they make 2 of the best in the country.
And look, we've become spoiled by these early season matchups, but this one is 2 bona fide national title contenders, and you can argue that unless you get blown out, one of them could afford to lose this game
I think it's a low-stakes
and still
game.
be there. So in a way, low stakes.